Every year, a crime is committed on a global scale. It is a heist so vast, so audacious, that its cost dwarfs the GDP of most nations. It is a theft of human potential, a silent robbery of the creativity, passion, and ingenuity happening right now in broad daylight inside the walls of every organization. Price tag for this crime is $8.9 trillion dollars. That is the annual cost of lost productivity due to employee disengagement, according to Gallup. This is not a soft number. It is a hard, cold calculation of the economic value that is being vaporized every single day because the vast majority of our workforce is showing up to work without really showing up at all. This is the crisis of the corporate zombie. The employee who has stopped thinking, stopped caring, and is doing the absolute minimum required to survive. They are the living embodiment of wasted human capital, and they are the default product of the modern workplace. I know this because for 30 years I've been a consultant in the trenches of corporate change. I've walked the floors of Fortune 50 companies and venture backed startups. And everywhere I go, I see the same thing. Brilliant, capable people who have been systematically drained of their energy, their creativity, and their will to contribute. And I know this because it happened to me. I was hired as a senior agile coach at a large financial institution. I was hired for my expertise in organizational transformation. And for the first 6 months, I spent 50% of my time on a single soul crushing task, manually pulling data out of an application and stuffing it into spreadsheets. I hated every moment of it. Not because the work was beneath me, although it probably was, but because it was a criminal waste of my time and the company's money. A well written script could have done it in minutes. So, I did what any reasonable, engaged employee would do. I raised my issue with the leadership. I proposed a solution. I said, let me automate this so I can do the work you're actually paying me for. The result was swift and unambiguous. I was fired for questioning their process. In one act, that organization commuted several things simultaneously: that the process mattered more than the person, that initiative was a punishable offense, and that the intelligence of a senior professional was worth less than their compliance. They did not just lose an employee that day, they sent a chilling message to every other employee who witnessed it. Keep your head down, do your task, and do not dare to think differently. They turned me into a zombie. They told me in no uncertain terms I should have sat down, shut up, and done what I was told. If it can happen to me, it's happening to your people right now. This experience and hundreds like it led me to develop a framework for understanding to what happens to people at work. I call it the Z scale. At the bottom, you have the zombie. Their mindset is, my effort doesn't matter. They do the bare minimum, they avoid ownership, they resist change, they shrug their shoulders and say, that's just how it is here. They are the 68% of the workforce that is actively or passively disengaged. One step up, you have the zoner. Their mindset is, I just want to do my job. They are competent and reliable, but they stay in their lane. They focus on tasks, not outcomes. They do not challenge the status quo. They are the good soldiers of the corporate world. Then things get interesting. In the upper half, you have the zephyr. Their mindset is, I have a better idea. They are energetic and passionate, full of ideas. But they often lack focus and discipline. They start many things, but finish few. They can be disruptive if their energy is not channeled. And at the very top, you have the zealot. Their mindset is, how can we make this better? They take ownership of problems and outcomes. They constantly seek to improve the system. They inspire and elevate others. They are the 1% of your workforce who drive 90% of the innovation. For 30 years, the dominant management philosophy has been to treat everyone like a zombie. We build systems of command and control, of surveillance, of micromanagement. We assume that people need to be directed, monitored, and incentivized with carrots and sticks. And in doing so, we create the very disengagement we are trying to solve. We take passionate, creative people, zephyrs and potential zealots, and we systematically crush their spirits until they retreat into the safety of the zoner or the silence of the zombie. But what if we have it all backward? What if the problem is not that our people are disengaged, but that our systems are disengaging? Here's the most dangerous and counterintuitive insight from my 30 years in the trenches. The people who are causing the most damage to your organization are often your best people. I'm talking about the heroes, the ones who refuse to give up, the ones who absorb the chaos, work extraordinary hours, and hold the team together through sheer force of will and personal sacrifice. Zombies are all too willing to let somebody else do their job. I know this pattern not just as a coach, but as a husband. When my wife and I were dating, she would often call me late at night sobbing. She was overwhelmed, convinced that she could not possibly get everything done. And I would tell her what I could see clearly from the outside. She was struggling not because she was inadequate. She was struggling because she was doing the work of 3 or 4 people. She was a hero in a zombie organization, and the system was consuming her. The hero is not a sustainable solution. They are a symptom of a broken system. They will burn out. They will grow resentful, and eventually they will leave, taking with them irreplaceable depth of knowledge and institutional memory. And here's the truly insidious part. The hero's conscientiousness, their inability to let things fall through the crack, becomes the very mechanism by which the zombie's inaction is subsidized. The hero picks up the slack. The zombie learns that the slack will always be picked up, and the organization, seeing that the work is somehow getting done, never confronts the underlying dysfunction. Your heroes are not just saving the day, they are masking the systemic failures that are creating your zombies in the first place. They are so busy fighting fires that they cannot see that they are standing in a tinderbox of the organization's own design. So what do we do? How do we break this cycle? How do we stop punishing our heroes and subsidizing our zombies? It starts with asking a different set of questions. For 30 years, we have been asking, how do we engage our employees? This is the wrong question. It assumes that the employee is the problem. The right question is, how are we disengaging our employees? This question shifts the focus from the individual to the system. It forces us to look in the mirror and ask hard questions about our own leadership, our own processes, and our own culture. I want to leave you with 3 questions that you can take back to your organization on Monday morning. The three questions that will begin the process of dismantling your zombie factory and building a zealot garden. Question 1, where are my heroes? Who are the people who are consistently working late, absorbing the chaos, and saving the day? Instead of just celebrating them, what if we asked them, what about the system is so broken that your heroism is required? Question 2, what work would I do for free? This is the question that uncovers intrinsic motivation. Ask it of yourself. Ask it of your people. The answer will tell you where your team's natural energy flows. It's pretty clear that people perform better at jobs they love. And your job as a leader is to not motivate them, but to clear a path and let them go to town. Question 3, what is one thing I can stop doing? What is one report you can stop generating? One meeting that you can cancel? One approval that you can delegate? The path to engagement is not about adding more programs. It is about removing the soul-crushing bureaucratic nonsense that is getting in the way of doing great work. The crisis of engagement in the modern workplace is not just a business problem. It's a human crisis. And the act of creating zombies is not just a management failure, it is a moral failure. To knowingly perpetuate a system that crushes the human spirit is to be complicit in the $8.9 trillion heist. But the reverse is also true. To intentionally and consistently dismantle the zombie making machine is one of the most powerful moral acts a leader can perform. This is what it means to raise the dead. It's not a metaphor, it is the literal, observable process of a human spirit coming back to life. It is the moment a person stops seeing their work as a burden and starts seeing it as a vehicle for their purpose. That is a legacy worth building. That is a purpose worth pursuing. Thank you.